A new kind of war. How will it be remembered? Russian President Vladimir Putin's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine inadvertently created a new kind of warfare, one we have never seen before. Russian forces planned to dominate the first front of this war, a front requiring superior numbers, resources, air superiority, and supply chains to conquer the physical battlefield. This invasion is not over yet, and let's be clear, the Russian forces could still come to dominate this physical front, even through atrocity. But within the first days of the invasion, Ukrainians opened up a second front, one that Russian forces never planned for, and which completely outmaneuvered President Putin. This second front is being conducted on digital platforms, with scripted and unscripted images, videos, and speeches that are shaping the way we remember the conflict already as it's being waged. This digital front has been instrumental in the way that Ukrainians have seemingly transformed warfare, precisely because they have so effectively drawn civilians from around the world into the fray, effectively making us all participants in the digital front, actively clicking and retweeting combat even from thousands of miles away from the physical battlefield. A Ukrainian mother took a selfie of her and her sleeping daughter surviving a night of overhead airstrikes. A photo of a baby being born in an underground subway station, serving as a bomb shelter. Britons could never have accomplished such profound communication during the Blitz. But the world participates by sharing shocking images of a weeping teacher holding an oversized military rifle as her and her fellow women dressed in their own clothes wait to deploy against the Russian military machine. Another woman confronts a Russian soldier, telling him to put seeds in his pocket so sunflowers will grow when he is buried. The ghost of Kyiv, and even President Volodymyr Zelensky's scripted moments in a television studio, broadcasting directly to Russian civilians on platforms that Russian censors will find difficult to combat, simply because the Russian bot network cannot keep up with all the global digital users reproducing statements like Zelensky's call to US diplomats for, quote, ammunition, not a ride, with a simple click. At no time in history has a single president or school teacher or a mother or a newborn baby been able to infiltrate the people of an invading country and of the world. In using the digital front, they have further blurred the lines between war front and home front. And it has affected politicians in Europe and America who have expelled Russia from the SWIFT network, blockaded oil. Likewise, corporations from as far afield as oil companies to financial services to Apple and TikTok have chosen to cease doing business in Russia. Not only does this digital front affect the morale of soldiers and civilians enduring the brutality of the invasion, it will also affect how societies remember the conflict, and especially the fallen. After conflicts end, societies traditionally create monuments to the heroic dead, such as the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and create sacred holidays of remembrance, such as Armistice Day and Memorial Day. But in this new digital front, how will we commemorate the sacrifice of a teacher about to deploy, or of parents sending their children to safety with a family member only to return to Kyiv and volunteer to fight the Russian army? Traditionally, societies have built monuments to great generals or to soldiers. Abraham Lincoln, for example, dedicated a battlefield to the soldiers who died there so that the world, quote, could never forget what they did here. When it became too difficult to justify the incredible number of dead soldiers from the First and the Second World Wars, French and British societies created an unknown warrior and an inconnu poilu, to stand in for all who sacrificed their lives. After Vietnam, Maya Lin created a monument that actually listed the names of nearly 60,000 U.S. soldiers who died in combat. While societies readily democratized their monuments, they continued to focus them around the cult of the fallen soldier. But now that we have seen them, how will we commemorate all of those Ukrainians who made sacrifices? Will Americans, British, or French people dedicate monuments to the fallen Ukrainian teacher in Washington, D.C., London, or Paris? In the First World War, factories became just as important as the battlefield in defeating the enemy. In the Second World War, an effective global supply chain meant victory or defeat. This may be the first war of its kind in which cyberspace is just as important as the battlefield in terms of victory. The terrain of combat has changed. Digital images are just as important as ammunition, and digital platforms are just as important as factories and military hardware. How will this transform the way we remember the war dead and commemorate them? We currently have no developed rituals for this kind of remembrance. They will have to be invented.